JM Youth Forum, a place where we shape the next generation, a place where we discuss issues like relationships, career and business advice, education and religious matters, and much, much more. So sit back, watch, and be informed. Your host is Laban Bethi.
Wow, greetings everyone. It is a new season, it's a new moment, it is a new time that we can say God has given to us as we usher in the new season of the series that we are going to have this time round. And we are delighted that God has given us the chance, He has given us the opportunity, and He has bestowed us with power. So we welcome you. Previously, it was in another year, in the year 2022. We are now in another year, 2023, and we invite you once again that you can join us even as we release great knowledge, great insight that is going to fuel you to a greater level. We spoke the other time and said that these are discussions that are going to help, especially the young people, the parents who are having young people in their homes, that you can guide them and somebody can get something that is going to help them as they get to the new levels of life. And today we are joined together with my panelists who are here with us. And it is a great season, a great time that we can hear their names. They can just say hi to you even as you get to begin. From my far right, we say that we begin with the ladies. So you can get to hear from her as we finish up with my brother. We are welcome.
Hello, I am Margaret, and I'm grateful to be with my brethren to share with you.
Thank you so much, Margaret, for finding time to come. You are welcome. Karibu sana.
Hello, our viewer. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Martin Donyo. We have been together previously, and
Honored to have you. I know we have fixed schedules and we found time to come. So we are truly grateful for the time that you've secured for this session. Today we are going to discuss in depth part of what we discussed in the previous season. We are going to get deeper in every topic that we handled that time. Now, just to mention what we are discussing about today, it will be career growth, rather career choice and career growth. And it will be a season that we are going to run with. And we are going to have episodes that are going to be discussing every moment. And today, we've secured one topic whereby we are going to handle an episode by name, Handling Examination Results. We know that the results were just announced the other time, previously. And it's a time whereby parents are now rushing to take their children to school. Some have been taken to repeat back in the classes that they were, where they were before. Others have already secured good positions in national schools, in the universities. And there are also others who are hopeless. They don't know what to do. So it will be a deeper depth of such discussions. And there is somebody outside there who is keenly listening, who is keenly watching. And they would love to know, what do we mean when you talk about career growth, career choice? I might have gotten an A in high school. And these are things that I'm not understanding. When you talk about career growth and career choice, what does it mean? If we can begin with you, Martin.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Now, if you remember our discussion, last season, we touched a bit on career.
Sure.
And career in terms of the choices that you have to make, and also career in terms of the progression or the different stages in which career occurs. And maybe just for a reminder, career, simply put, refers to an occupation that you undertake for a specific period of time.
Yeah.
And that occupation has to have an opportunity for progress or for progression where growth comes in. And so career choice is very key because you need to make a decision. What occupation do I want to pursue in life? What is it that, when we were younger, we were asked, what do you want to become when you grow up? And some of us are still in the process of growing up because we have not yet achieved what we wanted to become. And so those two things, an occupation, and then that occupation has to have an opportunity for growth, opportunity for progress. And so it's very important that we help the listener understand why they need to make the right choice, and two, how to make that right choice.
Sure.
So that once you have made the right choice, now you can grow in that career.
Maybe Margaret, do you have a different view on what maybe Martin has just mentioned?
I agree with Martin that it's an occupation,
Yeah.
and it's done over a long period of time.
Sure.
And the bottom line is, for one to make money or capital gain or earn a living from that occupation. And making the right decision, choosing the right career is very important because it's something one is supposed to do for a long time, for some time. Yeah, it ought to be within the ability of the person. Maybe he or she likes it. The passion should be there, so that as they continue, when it comes to career growth, it will not be a struggle because they have the ability and the passion, and they're able to go around the challenges that come during career development.
Oh, that's also interesting. You found that currently, or as we know, at the moment, students or parents, they are all over trying to know what their kids are going to study in campus, in college. And you find a number of them, they even get to courses that they never even thought about because the parent wants them to do that course. There are also other people outside there who don't even know where can I begin. My anticipation was to get a good grade. It is not like I failed. I did my best, and I still think and hope that I can have a bright future. So, as we begin here now, I'm this person who has failed. My certificate is not that much appealing. I want to get somewhere in life. And somebody might have told me that I can still rise from a D and still emerge and sit where great men and women sit. So this person who has passed the examination well, and this other person who is at the middle, another person who has failed terribly, what view, or rather what discussion, or maybe what point can you have to these three groups? There are people who think that if I have passed so well, definitely I'll have a bright future. To some, yes. To some, no. So I really want to see how assuming that I'm this person, and I have passed well, I am in the middle, I have failed terribly. What mindset should I have so that by the end of the day, I can emerge to be a resourceful person? Maybe we can begin with you, Maggie.
Okay, let me first. With time, we have realized it's not normally the case.
Yeah.
Because you find the top performers, they end up looking for jobs, white-collar jobs, you know, something that is equivalent to their academic achievements.
Sure.
And there's a lot of time wasted trying to get there. So I would say academic achievement is just a stepping stone to develop to employment or self-employment in future, whereby there's going to be competition. Competition will be there. And now for the lower ed, there is a tendency that they are failures. But I think our academic system or our curriculum was designed to test potentials that are mental, potentials and aptitudes, and potential and that is related to mental. It has never evaluated, identified, and harnessed skills that are hands-on, skills that are not you have to read and understand. And therefore, it would be wrong to say that they are failures. They are gifted in another way that was never identified and tested. So I would actually, they are not failures. It's just that the parents and the child to identify his heartbeat or her heartbeat, and in collaboration with parents, identify which way to go to develop a career. We have hairdressers, we have salons, and the owners of those salons are millionaires. And we have people who do carpentry, and they are doing trade. They are selling furniture that are so much. So you find every child is gifted differently. Those that are gifted to work in at corporate levels, let them pursue that. Those that are gifted elsewhere, let them pursue that. And everybody to be proud of who they are.
So maybe before you proceed, I am this person, I didn't perform well in the academics. And I don't know what really is my passion, you see.
Okay.
So how will I identify my area of gift now in terms of the skills and expertise, apart from going to school? Maybe you can just answer before we move to Martin.
I think, again, after secondary school, college is like another place you're starting to test which way to go. It's normally the beginning to test which way to go. Definitely there must be something in that person. There is nothing, even if it's doing business.
So in the same, I think
even farming. Even farming is an occupation.
Previously, as we know, our brother Martin has been much involved with students in school. How do you measure the capability, apart from now the academic expertise of somebody? How do you measure my capability in terms of skill? That you can know that Laban is equipped in this way. How are you able to identify the skill?
Now, there are various approaches that are available in the market. And like, I'd like us to appreciate at this point that our education system is going through a transition from the 844, which was more of what Margaret was talking about, the aptitude-based. So that if you're not gifted intellectually, then you're considered a failure, which is not the case. And then now we are transitioning to the competence-based, where it's more about my ability and the skills that are innate, that are inborn. And so 844 tried by allowing for co-curriculum activities, so that that student has another platform where they can showcase there are other abilities that are not aptitude based. Okay? Hopefully we will achieve it fully with CBC, where it's all purely about the competence of the learner.
Yeah.
But even in the education sector, what matters most, which is not very easy with the current setup, is for the teacher to identify the learner's ability, so that, for example, I remember I used to have a particular approach. I would not have a problem with you if the grade that you came with from primary school, so assuming you got a C, an equivalent of a C in KCPE, I wouldn't have a problem with you getting that same C in Form 1. Why? I would assume that is your inborn ability. And so mine would be to push you to a better grade, which is more practical and objective. Okay? But nothing less. So that my expectations are guided by an ability that is already tested from a lower stage. And so it is very important even for the parent and the teacher to identify the inborn ability of a student. Because I'll tell you the truth, and those that have been in the education sector can attest to this. There are students that no matter what, they are not able to shine academically. But give them a skill-based training or something.
On the same matter.
They give you the very best.
Yeah.
The same person that was a failure in class.
Yeah. You see, currently, the person who has passed well in school is more recognized than the failures.
Yes.
You see.
Failures in quote.
Yeah, sure. And somebody who has got skill, you see, at the moment, what we look at, there's something that Maggie just mentioned. By the end of the day, we are looking for people who will get money. Whether you went through, the whole program of a school campus and all that, or maybe you just dropped from school and you have a place in the society. So how comes that the guys who have performed well in school, they are more recognized than guys who have expertise? And remember that at the moment, guys who are even dropouts, they are employing those guys. Why are we celebrating them the more than the other people who have got the expertise?
It's been a mistake for the longest period of time. And I think that's why at some point, as a society, we decided to move away from result-based approach. So that it's not really, and if you remember, 2016 backwards, it was all about the results. How many A's as a school scored. Not how those A's were got. Not what happens or what results from those students that get A's. Maybe you are aware. There's quite a number, because I've also had an opportunity to interact with people who are in the tertiary sector. And you find lecturers complaining that the quality of students that make it to university do not reflect the grades that they came with.
And for that case, we have Maggie as a lecturer here.
Yes.
So she can
maybe she'll attest to this. Because you see, you realize a student scores an A. Why? Because that is what society wants, an A. How I got it, it's not a point of discussion. And so at the end of the day, I am forced into a certain line because of the pressure that is from teachers, parents, and the society. Why? Because I got an A. if you get an A, you can only do, I think, 4 courses. Otherwise, you are not serious with life. You're either a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer. Actually, a lawyer is even one of the lists, but it's doctor, engineer, you know. But the truth is, that person could be even more competent in another area that is not necessarily the white collar. And maybe Maggie can tell us this. So it's an issue of a societal shift, so that we are more interested in the ability than the result, so that a student is not under so much pressure to perform even through some unorthodox means.
So, Maggie, what is your approach on the same?
I think I will, the approach on the, can you repeat again?
You see, you're interacting with the students as a lecturer, and as Martin was mentioning, there are guys who scored so well in school. When they come to your class, you realize that you can't measure the intellectual capacity of this person. And even as you exit them, when they are graduating, you are very sure that this person will not be resourceful in the society.
Yes, we normally encounter such cases, and it's sad that we also expected to force them to perform. It's like we expected.
If they don't perform now, you can be put
instead of letting people to go according to their ability. There was a problem, especially in one of the institutions. I heard a lecturer saying that our students have a problem expressing themselves in writing, meaning there was a problem with grammar, with English. Personally, I teach numerics. And numerics is challenging for many people. That's what they normally say. So there's nothing much I can say, but there is a gap.
And I think what struck me at one point was when I was interacting with a staff at one of the universities in the country, and it became a serious concern because a huge number of students wanted, after being admitted to some of these best courses that everybody who passes would want, they wanted lower, slightly easier courses after the first semester. And it was a general concern because now, why? Your results show that you have the ability to take engineering. Why do you want to quit and go to education or something else? You see? And that's what we are saying. The system has been skewed in the past to drive us towards results no matter what, and sort of trampling down on ability, which at the end of the day, it's about ability. Results and aptitude are very important. But again, if you cannot put them to practical use, they only remain on paper. So it's very important that even as we push the student to get the very best in terms of academics, let us not do that at the cost of their inborn abilities and the skills that they can develop easily, naturally, because we are all wired differently.
You see, I've come to realize that majority of the people who are owning the economy of nations, quite a number of them, they were not the A students, not even the B students. They are C students going down. What happens that the people that we saw them being celebrated there, after they exit from school, you don't hear their names being mentioned. The guys who are holding the economy of nations, they are people that you didn't even hear them getting mentioned anywhere. How does such happen, and you still see the person who was a good performer getting to a place, or rather to be employed by somebody who was not performing so well?
I think
How
Margaret
does it
already
happen?
mentioned
Yeah.
something in that direction when she said that the problem of the top performers
Yeah.
is that they want to pursue the white collar jobs. And you see, the truth is, in most cases, I think if not all, white collar jobs are employment. They are not entrepreneurial. They are not business owners. Most of the time, business owners, before they can even get to where now they are being called employers, they were nothing close to white collar. You have to get into the trenches, you have to work. You at times not necessarily, you might not meet some of the standards that the white collar expectations have. Again, we go back to the society that we, and I totally hope that it will change with CBC. You are trained to go to school,
Yeah.
get a good grade, get a good job.
And
That's
now-
the the straight line.
Yeah. And the same, Maggie, you are a parent, you're also a lecturer. Why are we getting parents misadvising their kids to go and take certain courses other than allowing this person to know what they want?
Okay.
Yeah, you know, you are just addressing a parent who is seated somewhere, who needs to understand, and also a kid who maybe has chosen to do a certain course, and why we should allow them to know their area. And you know, there are times you can dictate, there are times that you can allow them to know their choice. Yeah.
I would think that for a parent to dictate a career for a child,
Yeah.
I think he's not well informed on the fact that the drive should come from within,
Yeah.
because it is the child who will use that profession or that profession to work.
Sure.
And if it was not his or her initiative, there would be no zeal. There would be no drive even to go beyond. Parents and many others, they look at what is paying. And some people, what is paying well. And they fail to understand it should also be backed by an internal liking,
Yeah.
a
Drive.
desire.
Yeah.
And but I would call the parent to have a discussion with the children. It's good. It is necessary for parents to guide the children on career choice, but it should not be dictation, because again, some parents have seen it. They have seen the world. They have seen it, and they may have more information that the child doesn't have. It should be a discussion with the aim of helping the child to make the right choice, which he will own. Once he owns it, whatever challenge he'll encounter on the way, he'll be able to go around it. Yeah.
And you see, the beauty is,
And for the child, he should not feel like my dad or my mom, it just open up and allow him or her to come into the picture for a discussion.
you see, the if you're keen enough as a parent,
Yeah.
at some point, the interests of the children or the child will always emerge. Softly sometimes, for some it's very strong. You can tell this child is more hands-on. Because at some point you'll push them to the books and you see there's a problem, but give them something else. Okay?
Yeah.
And even that of the books, there are those children that you'll know from the word go. This child is gifted.
Yeah.
They are smart. So that even if they bring a B home, you have a problem with them because it is obvious that they are an A student. Okay? There are those that naturally just love singing. At different stages you can identify. So as a parent, I believe we are tasked with that responsibility of, as Maggie is saying, guiding, but not guiding from oblivion. Not you have to be advised by things that you can identify from the child, so that you can tell this one can easily make a very good cook, for example, and you guide them in that direction, and then naturally the inborn liking develops into a career, so that even as they go through the books are only helping them to have a cutting edge when it comes to the marketplace.
You see, I've just recalled, I have my brother. After high school, the parents wanted him to do catering. You see, the moment now the parents sat him down, he began to cry. And he chose not to do it. And when we went in the line of a diploma in engineering, because he didn't qualify to go for a degree. And even before he was done with the studies, the guy could do wiring all over, like an expertise, you know, somebody who knows what he's doing. And afterwards, he went also and pursued a degree. Currently, he's at Technical University of Mombasa. And you can see the passion that is in this person. Unlike if maybe he allowed himself to go the line of the parents. As I think we were discussing the other time, this is somebody who maybe could bring the certificate and see that dad and mom take this your certificate. Let me go back to school and study what I want. Because as Maggie was just mentioning, there are so many people who have been misled by parents, basically because, you know, we have to respect them. We have to respect their decision because they will pay our school fees. But by the end of the day, whatever decision that we make, it will still count. I've walked around and you see people that maybe you studied with them in school and they've taken like 5 years and they are still working with envelopes all over. It is not like this person does not have a skill. And how can we discourage this mentality of people? Because I went for a degree or a diploma, I feel I have a BCom. I feel, you know, I've gone to school and I have a good grade, a first class honors, a second class honors, you know, and I feel that it's like I have some value in the market. And guys are all over working, pleading to get a job to be paid 20,000, to be paid 10,000, and they can't use their mindset to earn something. What can we tell these people?
I think before I answer that, let us not sound as if we are demonizing parents for guiding their student, their children, because I think every parent is well-meaning. And like Margaret said, they have some experience that the child does not have. Only that maybe the guidance they give them might not be in line with the child's ability or skill set. But at the end of the day, the parent is always well-meaning for the child. Now, this person that has this very good grade and is willing not to take any other step but to pursue that line of job seeking. I think what is key, there is the academics and then there is what we call the soft skills. It is very common to have very brilliant people in society that cannot fit in any community. Why? Either they are very rude, either they are quite they are indisciplined in several ways, they are irresponsible. So at the end of the day, even as we acknowledge that academics and the paper are very key, ask yourself, what value am I bringing on board?
Yeah.
Number two, another big mistake that top performers make. Because I have an A, I want to dictate how much you'll pay me. And I think the worst are the ones that come from high school with an A, and then you come from university with a first class honors. They are the most dangerous, you know. And the worst are those that after the first class honors, they pursue a master's before they go to the job market. And they expect you to pay commensurate to their papers. But somebody once told me that out here, every job is learned on the job.
Yeah.
School cannot teach you comprehensively what you expect in the job market. So if you can be humble enough to acknowledge that, and I'll tell you for free, maybe it has changed over the years, but in most government institutions you would find that the senior mosts were the diploma holders of old. They are the senior mosts. And a degree holder wants to come and become the manager because this 50-year-old does not have a degree. Doesn't work that way. Experience matters a lot. And so if you can be humble enough, and maybe now this will lead us to touch on other things, to be mentored. You remember our last season, eh? If you can be humble enough to be mentored, to learn the ropes, what is it that this job entails? And for me, my advice usually is always get something to do after every stage.
Yeah.
In between high school and tertiary, be it university or college, can you do something that will expose you to what the job market asks for? If it is not, no problem. But if you can do something that will just make you test the waters, know how people live out there. Between, then after university, we loosely say, go and be used. You know, where you go and work a lot, you're given all the donkey work, but they don't pay you. It's okay for some time, of course. Why? Because the experience you are getting out of that place is actually, some institutions will even charge you for internship. Why? They're giving you an experience. So if you can, if these bright students, and any other student for that matter, can allow themselves to be mentored at each stage,
Yeah.
I personally discourage you doing like 3 levels of education at the same time, then you go to the job market.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work for you. Take one stage, go to the job market, have a feel, go back to school. Even that education becomes more relevant because you can relate to real life things that you found in the job market. So if we can have the students come down to the world and be mentored, then some of the problems we have could not be there. Others will tell you, if it's not 100,000, I'm not working.
Yeah.
And it's your first job. Unless it is a family business where you can dictate some
So
things.
that means there's a way peer pressure in a way it lures some people, because my dad or my uncle or my friend took a certain course, I also want to go that line.
Yes.
You know, in a way it's like peer pressure takes a bigger part in some of the decisions. My parent can just come and say, this daughter or son of so and so scored an A or a B plus, and he pursued a certain course. So I want my daughter or my son to do the same. And these are things that are affecting so many people. So thank you so much for being for tuning in. It is a great time that we are having you getting tuned in, wherever you are, we always say that this knowledge is not for you alone. Share. If you're watching via Facebook, share to somebody. If you're on YouTube, share to another person, so that you can affect a life of somebody positively. Because that is the reason why we are doing all this. We really want to see a society that is growing very strong. A society whereby soft skills, apart from the academic expertise of somebody, will be very much relevant in bringing forth value. So, Maggie, you see, there is somebody, a student who is watching there, and they know that you are a lecturer. And, they are just in a desperate situation. How will you advise this student? Now, we've said that be somebody who can be mentored. Martin has just said that. As I go to school, as I want to pursue my studies in school, just give a word to this person as we come to a conclusion of this talk tonight. Give a word to this person as I want to get to school, so that my mind can get open even as I go to study.
First, what I would want to say is that before one undertakes a course or a profession,
yes,
the first thing is getting relevant information about the course.
Sure.
Very, very important. The job prospects of that course. The environment in which one would find himself in.
Yeah.
So that they can find whether they'll be comfortable and they will like it. Especially the job market. Some courses, the job market is so narrow. And you find many people doing the course. Institutions will not tell you, that the labor market is very small.
Sure.
Because they are looking for numbers. So that is my advice as students are looking for what course to pursue, over and above that they are passionate about it. Now, the next thing, once somebody decides, is just to roll up the sleeves and get into it, and to be aware that we need to have a paradigm shift, which has been instilled in us for so many years, that we must be employed. We must be employed, holding managerial positions. For example, if I've done an engineering course, I may not necessarily be looking for employment. I may look to go to a place to acquire skills. I may be getting very little money, but I'm going there to acquire skills and knowledge with one thing in mind. I would want to be self-employed in this area one of these fine days. So what is holding many graduates from diploma to degree is the issue of I must be employed. And again, we must know that career is dynamic, very, very dynamic. So expect changes in the future. And for the graduates, anything that will make money is good. It's better than sitting and walking around with papers.
Wow, thank you so much, Maggie. You see, Martin, you're interacting with the students, and even as I study to get my A or my B by the end of the day, you still need to instill another concept in me. As I study, what else am I supposed to pursue? Or rather, what am I supposed to involve myself in to know my skill while I'm in high school? Just speak to that person who is just watching and needs to understand.
You see, the beauty of young age is that it gives you space to take as many risks as possible with very minimal, what would I say, with very minimal consequences. In this sense, today, if I want to try out this particular career choice or skill set, I can do it. So long as it is within my reach. And then if I realize 2 years down the line that I maybe made the wrong decision, I can easily switch. But again, even as you do that, you'll find that there are careers that are interrelated. Okay? So that, for example, people that are in the construction industry, I understand there are so many dynamics in the construction industry. There'll be a surveyor there, I don't know, and even in the surveyor there are, I think, quantity surveyors, something surveyors, and then there'll be the structural engineers and all that. So you could be very passionate about construction, and then in there, now you get an opportunity to choose. Like Margaret was saying, you volunteer to a place where gives you an experience. So that if you go maybe into a construction company that has all these facets, it's very easy for you to request to be shifted to that department, that department, that department. At the end of the day, maybe 2 years, you now know where it is that you are well abled and you have a passion and an interest to pursue. So that's the beauty that is in youth, in young age. But the older you grow, the lesser you can take those risks. Because again, there'll be mouths to feed, there'll be bills to pay. But when you have that opportunity, even volunteer. Actually something that people overlook a lot. Volunteer.
Yeah.
And when you do your CV, include it. Why? You worked. And it gave you an experience. Yes, just note that it was on volunteer basis. But that 6 months or 1 year you did there gave you an experience that you wouldn't have got, like Maggie is saying, sitting around with your papers. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, our listener, our viewer. We are coming to you live from Kenya. This is JM Talk Forum. And we always come to you every Monday at 8 p.m. So remain tuned every Monday at 8 p.m. Invite your friends, invite your family members. It is going to be happening every week on Monday at 8 p.m. So we are looking forward to have an interesting discussion with you. You can just drop your questions down there so that we can have an interactive session together with you. So thank you so much for remaining tuned. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch. Thank you so much for the questions that you've raised. I believe we've answered quite a number of them. And we are looking forward every day when we are having this forum that we can discuss together. And the bottom line is to see a society that is rising up with greater strength and with greater power. So guys, we are happy that you found time to come. And we look forward to have a greater engagement every Monday. So feel much welcome and we appreciate you.
Thank you for hosting us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Forum.
How can a young person be consistent on a purpose? How can a young person...
You see a person doing or behaving a certain way. It is out of information. You dress like you think.
Yeah.
You talk like you think. Out of what is inside here, the fullness within here, that's what the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
So what you have in your head, you behave like that.
What do you understand by social media?
Yeah, social media, it's a platform, it's a connecting platform.
All right.
Just as the word goes, social media, it's a platform for mostly socializing. It's a media of exchanging information.
To be inspired, be ready to be transformed, Be ready to get something great, something that is going to change you. Be ready to receive a word for you.